Today, we will be taking a look into the history of Lugia in the Pokémon Tcg. One of the most popular Pokemon of all time, Lugia was introduced as one of the main legendary Pokemon in Generation 2, and is also one of the most iconic Pokemon of all time. The first ever Lugia card was in the set Neo Genesis. This set was released on December 16th, 2000, and was not only the first set of the Neo line, but also the first set to contain cards from Johto, or in other words, Generation 2. In this set, Lugia was only available as a normal holo. This is also the most expensive Lugia card of all time, with the PSA 10 first edition holo Lugia from Neo Genesis selling for a record price of $129,000 at auction on November 26th, 2020 from PWCC. The Neo line would gift us with only one other Lugia card, which was in Neo Revelation. This set was released on September 21st, 2001, and only had Lugia available as a non-holo. This card holds a very unique detail with two other cards in the set. When paired up with the non-holo Ho-Oh and Skarmory cards from this set, these three combine to create one really cool piece of artwork. The final Lugia card from Wizards of the Coast would come in their second to last ever set, that being Aquapolis, which was released on January 15th, 2003. In this set, we got the legendary Crystal Lugia. This card, along with the other two crystal cards in the set, were considered to be secret rares and were only available in a normal holo variant. This is most definitely my favorite Lugia card and might even be my favorite Pokemon card of all time. After the Pokemon TCG was taken over by Nintendo from Wizards of the Coast, it would be a little while until we got to see Lugia make its return. Although its time would eventually come, and it came back with a bang in EX Unseen Forces. This was the 10th set of not only the Ruby and Sapphire era, but also the 10th set made by Nintendo. This set was released on August 22nd, 2005, and contained not one, but two different Lugia cards. The first would be a normal card available as a non-holo and also a reverse holo, but the second one is where it gets really cool. For the first time ever, Lugia would also be available as an EX card. This EX Lugia would go on to become one of the most sought after and desirable Lugia cards of all time. The next Lugia card of the Ruby and Sapphire era would not come in a normal set, but come in one of the Pop Series sets, and not just any Pop Series set. The next Lugia card would come in Pop Series 5, released on March 1st, 2007, and is the most expensive and desirable out of all of the Pop Series sets due to it containing both Gold Star Umbreon and Espeon. In this set, Lugia was once again paired alongside Ho-Oh and was available only as a normal holo. Next, we have what I believe to be the most underrated Lugia card of all time, and it comes from what I also believe to be one of the most underrated sets of all time, that being Diamond and Pearl Secret Wonders, the third set of the Diamond and Pearl series, and was released on November 1st, 2007. In this set, Lugia was available as both a holo and a reverse holo, alongside many other really cool and unique cards as well. Although this next Lugia card might be the most unique of them all, the set Heart Gold Soul Silver, released on February 10th, 2010, was the start of the Heart Gold Soul Silver series, which was released to celebrate the new Heart Gold Soul Silver games. In this set, we saw the introduction of Legend cards. These cards contained unique artworks that, when combined with their other pair, would create one giant artwork being two cards. These cards look really cool, but in all honesty, the concept itself wasn't exactly my favorite. After the lackluster cards in Heart Gold Soul Silver, Lugia would come back to be part of one of the most desirable and legendary sets of all time, that being Call of Legends, a unique standalone set which was released on February 9th, 2011, just before the start of the Black and White series and just after the end of the Heart Gold Soul Silver series. This set contained a normal Lugia card which was available as a holo and reverse holo, and also the first ever shiny Lugia card. Call of Legends was a set which featured many legendary Pokemon who, similar to Lugia, had not only a normal holo and reverse holo card, but also a secret rare shiny version as well. Lugia, paired alongside the likes of Rayquaza, Groudon, Ho-Oh, Deoxys, and many more, come together here to make one of the best sets of all time. It would be almost exactly 2 full years until we would see Lugia once again, but when we did, it would be the start of a new trend we would begin to see throughout the entire Pokemon TCG. In Black and White Plasma Storm, released on February 6, 2013, we saw the return of EX Lugia for the first time ever since EX Unseen Forces, which was released back in 2005, and also the first ever full art Lugia card ever released. The normal non-full art EX would be reprinted later that year in Legendary Treasures, which was the final set from the Black and White era and was released on November 6th, 2013. As mentioned before, the Lugia EX from Plasma Storm was the first edition of a new trend we would see in the Pokemon TCG. That being, if we see a normal EX card in a set, we will typically see a full art version of that card as well, especially for legendary Pokemon such as Lugia. We would see this for the second time in Ancient Origins, part of the X and Y series and released on August 12th, 2015. In this set, we saw an EX Lugia and also a full art EX Lugia. Shortly after Ancient Origins, on May 2nd, 2016, we saw the release of Fates Collide, still part of the X and Y series, but unfortunately had some very unique cards, to put it nicely. These cards I am referring to are break cards. These cards were sideways, had an artwork take up the entire card, similar to a full art, and had the Pokemon featured in all gold. At first it sounds pretty cool, although unfortunately the end product was not liked all that much by many. In this set, we also saw a normal Lugia card available in a holo, reverse holo, and non-holo variant. This next card is the only promo card we will be featuring in today's video. The reason why I am not mentioning promo cards is because most promo cards are reprinted with just a slightly different artwork with the normal set they are released alongside. An example of this would be the promo EX Lugia from the tins released during the Plasma era of the Black and White series, and the EX Lugia from Plasma Storm, which we previously mentioned. Although this card right here is an exception. The English printing of this Shining Lugia was available exclusively in the Shining Legends Super Premium Collection box. The set this box was released alongside was Shining Legends, which was released on October 6th, 2016, and did not contain this Shining Lugia card in the normal set, which is really unfortunate because this is only, spoiler alert, the second ever Shining Lugia card we have ever seen to this day, the only other being the one from Call of Legends. And this card is really cool because it has the word Shining in the name, which is a throwback to the first ever shiny Pokemon we saw way back in Neo Revelation. In the Japanese and Korean printings of this set, Shining Lugia was in fact available in the actual set and was not exclusively a promo. One thing I will add is that Shining Celebi is in the same situation. In English, it was exclusively a promo, but in other printings such as Japanese and Korean, this card was available in the normal set. We would then see Lugia once again in the second half of the Sun and Moon era in the set Lost Thunder. Released on November 2nd, 2018, Lugia was available as a normal GX, a full art GX, and a rainbow rare full art GX. After that, we would unfortunately not see another special Lugia card for a little while, although we would get a lot of holo Lugias in the meantime. As a matter of fact, the very next set, which was Team Up, released on January 31st, 2019, contained a holo and reverse holo Lugia. Then in Darkness Ablaze, released on August 14th, 2020, we saw the first Lugia card of the Sword and Shield era, although this time it was only available as a non-holo and reverse holo. And then in Vivid Voltage, released on November 13th, 2020, we would see Lugia as a holo, reverse holo, and non-holo in the normal set, as well as a pre-release holo. Finally, we have the most recent Lugia card in the English Pokemon TCG, which is non-holo Lugia from Celebrations. Now I say English Pokemon TCG because currently Paradigm Trigger, the newest Japanese set, which was just released on October 21st, 2022, contains a whole bunch of Lugia cards, including Lugia V, V-Star, V Full Art, Rainbow Rare V-Star, Gold V-Star, and Alternate Art V. all of which will be released in the next English set, Silver Tempest, which is scheduled to release on November 11th, 2022. Here in front of us today, we have some of my favorite Lugia cards from my collection. Both the Neo Genesis Lugia and Crystal Lugia are not in the best condition, but it does not bother me at all. I absolutely adore both of these cards, and I'm so happy to have them in my collection. I have thought about this before, and I think the Crystal Lugia card might be either my first or second favorite card I own. Then we have EX Lugia from Ancient Origins. The X and Y era contains some of my favorite cards, and this EX Lugia was a must-have for me in my collection. And finally, we have Korean Shining Lugia from Shining Legends. I actually have the Super Premium Collection box the English version of this card was available in, although I have decided to keep it sealed. So I bought some Korean booster boxes of Shining Legends so I could pull this beautiful card right here. And that is all for the history of Lugia in the Pokemon TCG. I hope you all enjoyed going through each and every edition of this iconic and legendary Pokemon. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and this is the Playa signing out.